Ellen Jaffe Jones. I am the veg coach, as you can see, and the broccoli rep, because who else is? I'm also the author of Eat Vegan on $4 a Day, Kitchen Divided, and Paleo Vegan. And I'm also a contributor, one of 15 contributors to that other little book back there called Eating, Thinking, and Running. And I am a runner. I'm actually 7th in the US in the 1500 meters. I am 10th in the 400 meters, and I've placed, as of last weekend, in 84 5K races for my age group since 2006, just on plants. Got interested in this as a TV reporter, 2 Emmys and a bunch of other awards, and trying to figure out the truth about food became the investigative reporting job of my life. Why? Mom, aunt, both sisters had breast cancer, and a whole lot more. They all had diabetes and heart disease, and being the youngest in the family, I was just always thinking, like, how do I avoid this? How do I bulletproof myself so that I don't spend my life in hospitals? Because that's really, we used to joke that hospitals were the scene of our family reunion, or we wondered what wing our particular relative's disease was paying for that year. And of course, the head of the hospital donation unit, the fundraising department, was always in our room when we had one of our extended stays, which happened actually quite a bit. So food is medicine. This is my love. I have been very fortunate to be on the road and try and talk about this and how important it is to have a plant-based diet, not only for your health, but for the health of the planet, which includes animals. And you only have to go as far as your YouTube channel to see all the incredible videos about how animals are abused, not only in factory farms, but just to get on our plate 3 times a day. And so many of us are now reconnecting and understanding how food gets there. And let's give it, I think it happened last week after the last broadcast, but let's give it up for PETA and their lifelong campaign of getting elephants out of circuses. Ringling Brothers announced this week that they were ditching the elephants out of circuses, and that's really the very first video. It wasn't a video back then, it was a film of how elephants were being abused in circuses. And Ringling filed suit against a lot of animal rights groups who tried to get that message out there and show those videos. And now, there's just too many videos out there. So cool that PETA never gave up that fight, and God love them for doing that. So yeah. All right. Well, let's get started with our first recipe, and both recipes tonight are out of Kitchen Divided. The first one is Some Like It Hot Curry. Now, since I am the camera person, and I'm going to be angling this so you can see what I'm doing. Now, all right, so I think you probably saw this last week, this pretty cool device here. And what's nice, this is a food processor or food cutter, and it has all these different blades that you can attach to it. And they're all numbered from small to large. And what's cool is that you just put it on top here, and faster than you can hardly say, my eyes are crying from cutting the onion, it cuts up the onion. And, oh, the dog heard this machine. Snazzy dog. He thinks, he knows that, like, when I cut carrots on here, he knows that he might get a little snack, but doggies aren't supposed to have onions, so we're not going to give you that. But I just, today is his 8th birthday. We almost lost him about a year ago from this flea and tick medicine called Trifexis. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, but and the nice thing about using that cutter is you don't get too much of the crying. But I'm going to try and pick him up. Come here, baby. Come here. Come to mama. This is Snazzy dog. Yes. See, that's what mama's doing. Yes. Okay, I'm going to put you down because you probably don't like those onions. Oops. His paw just got stuck in the cord. All right. He says, you sure you don't want to give me some food? All right. Too cute. Snazzy. Oh, he makes me cry. Anyway, he almost died from Trifexis. There's even the Facebook page called Trifexis Killed My Dog. And we really looked into it, and there are a lot of TV stations around the country that have done that story about how dogs have died. But, you know, not, sorry, I shouldn't have done the onion first. I'm crying. But so far, I don't think there have been any class action lawsuits. But you know, that's a whole nother story. You can research it. Meanwhile, back to the Some Like It Hot curry. Okay, so we've cut up the onion, and now we're going to do the garlic cloves. And I like my ceramic knives. However, when you are smashing a garlic clove, the instructions say don't use a ceramic knife. Now, I guess that's because it has a higher tendency to break, but we are, when you just smash like a stainless steel knife over a garlic clove, you can see it just really peels easily. Now, as I've mentioned on the earlier part of this call, I have enabled comments. In theory, you should be able to comment, but so far it's not working. So, all right, we're going to cut up our onion. Now, our garlic. Garlic is really too small to use in the food cutter, but I love these ceramic knives, these Kyoceras. You can get them online. You can get them even our Publix grocery store. I live in Southwest Florida. Publix is the main grocery store here. So in case you missed that maneuver, let's see if we can get this down further here. All right, so we're going to take the knife and we're just going to hold it over the top like that, except the clove has like a really sharp end on it. So you want to make sure the ends of the clove, well, let's see if you can see that. All right, the ends of the clove are facing down. You put your palm right down on it and just squish down, and you heard that nice crunch, and you can see how it just peels off. It's just so easy. All right. So, all right, went in the sink, wash it off, and we cut it up nice and nice little pieces. All right, so that is the garlic. The next ingredient will be some chopped ginger. So we've got some fresh ginger. We will peel off the skin. And, you know, people say, well, do you have to peel it? Yeah, kind of. I actually forgot to do that once, and it's just a little fibrous, probably good to clean out whatever ails you, but yeah, you want to peel it. So we can put this over this little cutter here, and the plastic lid will just cut it up in pretty big pieces. So I may, you can certainly change blades and get it into smaller pieces, but we're just going to cut these up in the interest of time. All right, so that's our ginger, and then next we're going to do a ½ teaspoon of turmeric, and that is this beautiful gold spice. Now, I wanted to mention, of course, that Fresh Market, which is another store, big store in, they tell me the East Coast. This is the paid part of the commercial here. They donated all the food for this. So the food by Fresh Market, and I really do love their food. That's one of the reasons I asked them to support us, is because it, especially their produce, is just really fresh. And they also, their spices come in these little bags. I mean, how many of us ever get fresh spices, right? So if you buy them in these little bags, there's a chance that you will use them more. So turmeric is wonderful. It's an anti-inflammatory, and it's even in a capsule form. You can buy it at a health food store, which is kind of crazy. Just eat the real food, I always say. Okay, next we're going to be using this is Madras curry powder, and we are using a 1/4 teaspoon of each of these spices. Now, my recipe doesn't really call for Madras curry powder, but again, it was just so pretty, I had to add it to this. And look at these beautiful golden colors. Just love what this does to the color. And then we're going to add garam masala. And this can actually be a combination of spices, and it can vary depending on the whim of the store or whoever is putting it together. And the ingredients here include coriander, black pepper, cardamom, and cinnamon. And you can, oh, really smell that cinnamon color. So you can see how these spices are just beautiful so far. We haven't even mixed anything together. And then a pinch of cayenne just to give it a little fire. Ooh, I am so glad that didn't go in my dish. I don't know if it caught that on camera, but that packet just went flying. And then now we have, it's a good thing the date is also going in this recipe. It's going to be on fire. That's the next thing. Got a medjool date, and I already took the seed out. And I'm going to cut this up into some fine little pieces. And you can see this very sharp knife is making that quite easy. And we'll spread it out in the recipe here. And, you know, you add dates to things to give it natural sweetness. I always like to add the real food and not the phony food or the added sugars. So dates are a great way to add sweetness to whatever it is you're cooking, and it's just so full of fiber. Okay, and I'm going to grab the rag because if I touch the computer after handling the dates, that won't be pretty. All right, we've got our spices in. Now we're going to add some light coconut milk. The recipe calls for 3/4 cup. I'll probably add the whole thing. This is something new. I actually hadn't seen that So Delicious was making coconut milk, but however you can get it, great. Now they call this culinary coconut milk. Now, even though this is light, to me it looks a little thicker than some of the light coconut milk that I've used that comes in cans. So, all right, now we're going to move the camera, and we're going to put the pot on the skillet, and that's, again, so convenient here. You can just pour it into the skillet and move it right on, or the pot, and move it right on to the burner. I'm going to move this over a little. Then the next thing for this recipe before we start cooking, it calls for 3 cups or so, no salt, added canned tomatoes. Well, you get what you can find, and I really like these Muir Glen diced tomatoes. They're fire roasted, and you can certainly go with the plain tomatoes, but the fire roasted kind of adds like this rich texture that I kind of like. And so whatever you can find, whatever works. And then the last thing will be, I always encourage cooking beans from scratch, but in the interest of time and resources, we are going to just add a can of organic beans. Fresh Market has a lot of organic produce and foods, so they're always very generous in giving me organic when it is available. And the interesting thing was, we're going to talk about strawberries later for this next recipe, but the organic and the conventional strawberries were exactly the same price this week. Now, it is strawberry season in Florida, so that may be why, but kind of interesting that people always think that organic produce is so much more expensive. All right, we're going to stir this up before we put the lid on it, especially to mix those spices around. I hope everybody's having a good evening. Yeah, my game plan here is that we just kind of hang out, cook together, and if I can figure out the comment section, just hang out and ask questions if you have concerns, things that are on your mind. You know, we have vegan meetups in our area, but they're so far away, and oh, the traffic is awful here in Florida. All day long, we kept hearing sirens at our house. It was just like, I think, you know, spring breakers are starting, and it's just so out of control here. So the locals tend to stay in their houses for the next month or two, and then we'll go out again, perhaps once everybody leaves. And, you know, it's the price you pay to live here. All right, we put the lid on, and what's nice about these lids too is that they have their own thermometers, even though this burner does have its own thermometer or temperature regulation. All right, so this is going to be served over some rice, and we have two kinds of rice for your dining pleasure tonight. The Lundberg black pearl rice or forbidden rice, and then this is a blend by uh, well, it's just a blend, I guess a proprietary blend for from Fresh Market. So from the Lundberg Farms, I thought it was. Let's see. Did I read that? Maybe on this one. Yes. Okay, this is Lundberg. All right. So what do they say about it? Over the years, the Lundberg family has produced high-quality, eco-farmed products, rice products. It's our passion and has been for over 3 generations. We pride ourselves on growing rice that is good for you and the environment. We've grown rice sustainably long before anyone used that word. Our farming methods conserve water resources, build soil integrity, and support a healthier ecosystem. We specialize in eco-farmed, whole grain, gluten-free rice products. Nothing fancy there, just lots of natural deliciousness. Thank you for supporting sustainable farming. Now, all that said, you know, these labels get thrown around. This does say we had some discussion about this last week, non-GMO verified, okay? And then there is this is the non-GMO project. So if you see that, you can be assured that it's made with the product is made with seeds that were not genetically altered. Now, I saw some discussion this week, and you know, maybe if we can figure out the comment section here, let's see if this will work. All right, I've pressed another button, but I don't see. Feel free to join in if you can. But we had some discussion last week about gluten-free, and one of the things I researched this week, because I was looking at Monsanto, at least this one site claims that they have never produced genetically altered wheat, that it's not on the market, that you don't eat it. Now, what they do say is that the wheat seed has been hybridized, and that's a difference between the genetically altering a food means that the DNA, the genetic code has been changed. But when you force seeds together, I guess in an arranged marriage, it's not the same thing. All right, so I'm not a scientist, but I thought that was kind of interesting to see where that was going. But so you've got your rice, and we did cook it up before dinner, and so there is the different rice grains and the blend there, and you can buy all kinds of combinations at the store like that. And then, of course, here is the forbidden or black rice, and it is so black you can hardly see it. You'll just have to trust my word on that. But I love all the different kinds of rices. It's really, really kind of cool to see how much variety there is in the store on these things. All right, so while we're waiting for the curry to cook up, and I just realized that I need to put the broccoli and the cauliflower in that. I was like getting so carried away with all the spices. Just a little music for your dining pleasure. So let's use the knife on this. And there it goes in. I think we'll stop it there before we have an overflow situation. And adding to the cruciferous family from the broccoli, we have the cauliflower. Isn't that a beautiful head of cauliflower? Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. I mean, not a brown spot on it, and organic too. So very cool. Thank you again, Fresh Market, for donating all this food. And I think the neighbors are going to be happy tomorrow. I could use the food cutter, but I think in the interest of time, we'll just give it the old knife. All right. And then we're going to add a little spinach. Yeah, we'll wait to add the spinach because the spinach will cook up pretty quickly. The lid is back on. All right, the next thing we're going to do is our raspberry and chocolate chip slushy. So to that is going to be pretty easy. People are mixed about whether they want to use smoothies or not. But if you have some concerns, just make sure you slosh it around in your mouth and chew it up good, even though it is a drink. And you don't have to worry about it mainlining and overloading your blood sugars. So if you can eat foods in their natural state, great. But if you live in Florida and you come back from a run, as I did this morning, I'm telling you what, a smoothie was really tasty. So to this, we are going to add, we have 2 frozen bananas. Now, I just took these out about 30 minutes ago, so I would have them ready for you. And as you can see, they've like totally defrosted. So I have to pour the liquid in the sink. We may need to add some ice cubes to this. And what's interesting here, this one was probably riper. The others are not as dark. So there those go. Anytime you add frozen bananas to a smoothie, of course, it makes it just like ice cream. And then we have the choice of using frozen or fresh raspberries. And I'm splitting this between the strawberries because I wanted to do a little experiment with you. All right, let's see if you can tell which strawberries are organic. Let's see. All right, so there we go. I'm going to put them right up to the camera so you can see. And 2 of them are organic. 2 of them are not. They're conventional. So let's see if we can get any answered questions on that. I am once again trying to enable the comments here, and okay, so I have a comment box that I can type in, and I've typed the answer. I've typed some things in that show up. So if we can't get that to work, well, you'll just I was going to ask for some answers, of course, but anyway. All right, so just looking at these 2 strawberries are the conventional ones. I hope you got that right. They are totally perfect. These are almost perfect, but they have like little irregularities on them. So as you can see, by the way, we're going to add those to the smoothie. In the boxes here, let's take a look at this again. Now, I've always told my kids, just like the Joni Mitchell song, give me spots on my apples, but leave me the birds and the bees, please. And that's what you have. That's why you want to do organics when you can. So again, this is the conventional box, and they are beautiful. Like I mentioned earlier, this is peak strawberry season right now in Florida. And those are the organic ones on my left. Yeah, so those are the organic ones. And again, they're very beautiful. Really, they are. But just not quite as picture perfect as the ones on the right. I'll take the organics, and I encourage you to do the same. And I guess we could use a few more strawberries in there. And the raspberries are beautiful too. They are also organic as well. So important to buy organic when you can. And then the next part of this would be the vegan chocolate chips. And when possible, if possible, get fair trade. That's so important. And you can add as many of these as you like, but we'll be adding about a 1/4 cup, that is. And again, thanking Fresh Market for our wonderful dessert, as well as the rest of the food. Okay, so we are going to find our lid. One time I went to a cooking demo, or a cooking class actually, and forgot the lid to the Vitamix. It was not pretty. I put a plate on top and it worked pretty well, but I did have myself quite a mess. All right, and so we turn on, let's see. We're plugged in there, and I probably need, we need a few more ice cubes, so hang on. Oh, watch this. ice cubes, right? And I actually read somewhere recently that you're not supposed to give them dogs. I mean, not supposed to give dogs ice cubes. But there he is. He's 8 years old today, Snazzy doll. Is he like a human or what? He's been moment up. Do you like all this food? Okay, I'll eat you some more later. All right. Well, when here's the ice cubes, he just like comes, just comes like crazy. He has to be there right away. Okay. So let's go with this is a blend tech, okay? All, Vitamix blend tech are all good. I love the high-powered blenders. And I say this, and what's happening? So the deal, oops, I need to put the microphone back on. Did you hear any of that? Oh, I hope you did. Okay. So that was Snazzy. You got that part. Snazzy the dog who likes ice cubes. And this is the raspberry and chocolate chip slushy that we've made. So if you don't want to blend it up to smithereens and still have some texture to it, you can certainly have it where it is in small particles still. There's even a chocolate chip right there that's not totally blended. So you can add dates to it if you really want to make it sweeter, but I totally don't think that is necessary. And we'll grab a little glass here. Let's see, my most decorative glass. I always like to use a fancy glass if I'm having company because it just makes it look so special, right? And you can even put a strawberry on the side of this. Some of you who follow me on Facebook, I have one of my cover photos is a picture just like that, sitting outside, and there you have a wonderful dessert. Take the strawberry off. Who said you can't eat desserts before? Why does my daughter always text when I'm doing these live hangouts? Anyway, hi, Erin. All right. So you can eat dessert before the main course. All right. So let's see how we're doing here. It's smelling real good. Oh, yeah. We'll turn this down. I assume you can hear my phone texting. So there is our curry, mixing it up. That cauliflower is cooking up nicely. And, I'm thinking maybe I should do this like at 8 in the morning or something. And then, I could actually have a real cooking class going on. So we'll put the spinach in, again, organic. And just a final cover up here. And there we go. Now, before we go, I did want to, my goodness, time does fly. We're talking about chocolate and fair trade. So I wanted to share with you one of my favorite chocolate companies. That first thing on here is organic fair trade. The Theo Chocolate Company is based in Seattle, and they don't pay me to say any of this, but when I was there at VegFest speaking, I got to go on a tour there, and it was just the first thing they said in the tour was, we make sure that all of our chocolate is sourced sustainably and is fair trade. And we go actually every year, the owners do, to check out the people the farmers and wherever they're getting their chocolate from. So they have so many different varieties. This one is coconut, 70% dark chocolate. And of course, we have to show it to you, don't we? Yes. So there you go, big squares. You can see that. And it's the coconut flakes, chips are inside. And to me, back in my childhood when we had Halloween trick-or-treating, and it's amazing, any of us made it through adulthood, but Nestle Crunch. Forgive me that I ever bought anything from the Nestle company. I was a little HA League leader, and if anybody knows about that organization and their big battle, United Nations actually filed a suit against Nestle's. And that's a whole nother story, but basically, in my work with La Leche League, they talked about how the Nestle's employees would dress up as nurses in third world countries and try and get women, new mothers, to not breastfeed their babies, the whole human specific milk kind of thing, and would basically get them using formula from Nestle. So, but these do bring back memories of those candy bars before I became enlightened. All right. I really don't want to eat too much of that at 10 o'clock at night, or I won't be going to sleep anytime soon. But I had to show you. It was delicious. All of this good stuff. All right, let's see. I see there are 7 of you on the call. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to turn down the heat here. In fact, I'm going to turn it off. Let's just give it one final stir so you can kind of see the final product rather. And you can see how beautiful these colors are. And this is just a lovely curry that, if it's still cold where you are, I hope it's starting to warm up, but this will cure whatever ails you, or at least make you feel good anyway. Very satisfying and a really beautiful dish. So lots of good anti-inflammatories in there, the turmeric, the ginger, and all that good stuff. All right, I'm going to try one more time to get comments enabled here. There's Q&A. That's a second button that I've pushed. Now, when I did this last week and I hit the Q&A, it actually enabled, at some point, I got this button that popped in somewhere that said, click here for comments, and I'm not seeing that. So I am going to pledge to you that between now and next week, I am going to buy, it's like $600 for the year, GoToWebinar, and that way we can really get involved and hopefully have a better dialogue, because I think this whole idea of a sort of a cyber meetup of vegans, because we just can't always get to a meetup, in our area, it's just so far away. And I really want to be able for us to hang out and ask questions, and then hopefully I can also get you the recipes so we can even cook together if you want to, and then like sit down like you would at a real meetup and actually eat together. How cool would that be? All right, well, I know we are only 30 minutes into this, but since I can't get the question format to work, I think I will sign off. And you can certainly feel free to email me if you have any questions, ejones@vegcoach.com, or my website. It has all the contact information there, vegcoach.com. And certainly feel free to pick up any of my books. Here's the commercial part on Amazon or off my website. Most authors don't do this for money these days. We just do it for fun. And again, one more thank you to Fresh Market for providing all this wonderful food. I hope you will support them, because I can only tell you, I've tried for years to get food donated for my cooking classes, even during the time when I was doing them for Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine's The Cancer Project. And, you would think that stores would want to get their food out there and show how beautiful it is and how you can really improve your health and stay healthy by eating this way. You would think. So I am just so grateful that Fresh Market has been a part of this. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you have a great evening, and see you out there. See you on the circuit. All right, everybody. Got to run.